what in you is making dreams? What is this special quality that we have in each of us that is like producing images and takes like contents from our subconscious and unconscious and at night just projects them into our conscious awareness so that we can understand and process them? Whatever this is, the same mechanism that is producing these dreams is also producing our daydreams. And you can access your subconscious, just like you can access your subconscious through dreams and understanding and interpreting them. You can access it through imagination, through daydreaming consciously, basically. And this is what active imagination does. So there's passive imagination where you just sit back and you half conscious, you're just daydreaming and habitual thought patterns are coming up and you're imagining things and you're not really conscious while doing it. But in active imagination, we put the emphasis on actively engaging with the imaginations. And then something really wonderful happens. Then we understand that we can actually interact with whatever is happening in our mind, in our imagination. So for example, if I imagine a certain part of me coming up, like for example a witch, or let's stick with the image of a witch. For some reason, this is like coming up within me, and not only can I like witness that, okay, there's like a witch happening sort of in my head and in my body, wherever, but I can also converse with it. I can start a relationship with this part of me. And usually, through building a relationship with these parts, we open a door to the subconscious and to energies and potentials, and also like certain experiences that we've stored away that we can now make conscious and integrate. So there's a creative impulse that is constantly going on. Like we're in a constant mode of creation and a constant process of creation. And this, what's happening up here, is sort of the outcome of that. And we want to build a relationship with that, because through building a relationship with what our body mind system and our soul, for that matter, is producing, we can be more creative in the outside world because we access more of the potential that has been stored in our subconscious. So there's the shadow, which is, like, roughly speaking, everything that you've repressed within yourself. And sometimes your shadow is being projected onto the screen of your conscious mind. And this is what we call imagination. And not only is your subconscious projecting onto like the screen of your subconscious mind, but also on the screen of your body. And this is like emotions, this is tensions in your body, this is certain stresses we feel. It's like if you feel like your throat is tight and so somewhat clogged, this could very well be like a creative outcome of the processing power of our body-mind system. And active imagination is our way to access that and to open these doors that our subconscious in that moment tries to open. And we can only do that if we see the images and the symptoms or the whatever experiences we have in our body as such, as doors to the subconscious, as portals that want to be opened. And we need the right tools to get through them and to sort of bring out the goals that is stored in these parts of our psyche. So we want to listen to our body. We want to listen and watch what is going on in our body and in our mind. And when we want to start a dialogue. We don't want to passively experience pains or stresses that we have in a body. We want to bring them in connection with our imagination and then create almost like a looping system where the image in your body, which is the pain or the tension, and the image in your head are sort of made from the same stuff. They are representing each other. And then we start a dialogue with them. And that's the 3-step process that we can use and that I want to talk about now, that enables you to do exactly that. So the first thing we do is we invite in. First step is inviting in. So you can do this like in various situations. There's 2 access points you can use. Like I said, there is whatever whatever your mind is expressing in your body, which could be like symptoms, which could be a pain, which could be a feeling, could be a positive feeling, could be a feeling of euphoria, but could also be a feeling of sadness, of anger, of grief, whatever. The first step is to invite that in. And also, we want to, just like I talked before, like if you have an inner critic coming up, for example, or if you have like any part that is like repeating like a broken record player that is always like saying the same things, we can invite this in as well. So these are the 2 entry points. The one is your body and the one is your imagination, like your mind, all of the voices and various images in your head. And we want to actively invite them in. We want to have a relationship of openness towards them. We don't want to close towards them. We want to become conscious of them, and we want to start to relate to whatever is happening within our body. So we invite them in. It's like they're knocking on our door, and we open the door and be like, yeah, be my guest, come in. I want to get to know you. There's a sense of curiosity, maybe compassion within that. We want to like restore the relationship to the parts of us that maybe are really hard to experience. For example, in a critic or like a pain in our body, these very rough, like these hard to bear experiences that we sometimes have, we tend to push them away. But in active imagination, like I said, we want to actively engage with them. And that starts with a relationship like of curiosity and openness. So this is what we're starting with. And then we start dialoguing with these parts. So whatever is coming up within you, let's say maybe you're watching right now and you have found a part within you. Maybe, for example, for me, that would be like a tension in my jaw that also is returning from time to time. So I assume that this tension has something to, like, it wants to tell me something. I don't know what it is yet, because if I knew, then probably the tension wouldn't be there. But let's tune in. So the first thing I do is invite it in and be like, okay, I'm open and curious. I come from a beginner's mind. I don't, I like strip away everything that I think I know about this tension, and I'm simply being with it. And already I can start dialoguing. I can tell the tension, maybe out loud or in my head, hey, it's okay that you're here. And I want to be curious about you. And right now I have like this tension here, and I don't have an image yet. So what I can do here is also to invite in the image and tell, like, this feeling in my jaw right now, like, would you be open to show me an image of whatever you are carrying, whatever you want to tell me, whatever you have in store for me? And now I see like an inner, like a child, sort of, and sort of metally, some sort of metal or something. And there's like, oh, there's coldness and my body wants to do this. So there's like cold, harsh metal. And I'm inviting that in. I'm like, okay. I'm not like, oh, I have to alter this and blah, blah, blah. I have to do anything. No, right now it's all about inviting in, being the recipient of the experience, being with the experience, not altering the experience in any way. And then I can start dialoguing with that part and with that feeling. Can say, what's your story? And the part says something like, I've been shut down for so long that I became lifeless. Oof. And that hits quite heavy, like I can feel compassion coming up, and I'm like, yeah, there's like metal, it's like a lifeless, inhuman kind of thing. It's also very hard and like, yes, there's roughness to it. I'm like, yeah, wow. I'm thankful that you're showing yourself. Is there something you need from me? And now happiness is coming up, actually, joy. And the part says, I just want to be loved by you. And now something interesting is happening. As you progress, you start to more and more decipher these patterns. I feel joy coming up and I feel warmth coming up. So there was this coldness that this part in me was experiencing, and this need for like just someone to be there with him and like to play with him. And then there was warmth coming up, almost like the inner child was like in a freezing. Also, I did this movement. Maybe you remember. I did this almost like I'm freezing, and then you can use your common sense. What does someone need that is freezing? What does this person need in order to get back to homeostasis, get back into balance? I need warmth. That part of me needed warmth. And then without me doing anything, I didn't cause this necessarily to come up within me, but the warmth came up within me. And then I'm like, yeah, I think, could it be that you're telling me that I should not be so hard on myself? Now I'm listening to myself, I'm being like, yeah, hard, like this mentally, it's being hard on myself, like on the inner child. It was like weirdly connected. I'm being hard on myself, right? And you want to invite in more joy, more ease, more softness, and concentrate on that more play maybe, right? And the child says, yes, I want a big hug. So I'm giving the inner child like a hug. This is where the somatic part comes in. So you always want to cue into what is happening within you. Like first I did this, and it sort of gave me a bit more like information, and you will like, the more you do this practice, the more you will understand these cues of your body. So it's really all about translating a feeling into either like an image or like a movement or like a position, for example. At first it was this, and now it's like slowly turning into this. Like I'm giving my inner child a big warm hug, like this big fluffy bear. Like no more hard metal. No one wants like a fluffy bear, wants to feel safe, because metal is not safe, and a fluffy bear is strong and also warm like a gentle giant. And apparently my inner child wanted that. So this is how we create a dialogue with whatever part is like within us. And now you may ask, like, how do I do that? I want to like recommend you to really like use your common human sense. Like sounds easier said than done. But if you encounter an inner critic, for example, talk to that inner critic as if you would talk to someone that is criticizing you from the outside. Maybe like if the inner critic is making you angry, you can tell him like, hey, you're making me angry. Why are you doing this? Why are you threatening me the entire time? I think I don't deserve this. And to be honest, I think that you are having a problem. Like I sort of feel good with myself, but it seems like you're a bit bitter, and I actually have compassion towards you. Like, stop this. I want to get to know you. So interact with the parts as if they are autonomous being, because they are. So first we invite in. If you have like a somatic, like a pain or like a tension in your body, invite in the image that comes with that. And then we dialogue, like in the loop that I just described, between what's happening in your body, the somatic experience, and what's happening in your imagination. And you sort of use both like as entry points. Sometimes you focus more on the body, sometimes you focus more on the imagination. It's important that you're always grounded in the body. You never want to escape the body, because especially if you're like spiritually minded and you're very, very creative, it can be that you are sort of like escaping into a fantasy world and you become dissociated. So it's important to always incorporate the body, and especially to stop when it's getting too much. Like, this is also like a disclaimer. If you have like a psychotic break, if you have experiences with that, definitely only do it in the presence of a experienced facilitator. This is very important. We ticked off the first two parts, of the process, yes, and we want to get to the final one. And this is an interesting one. And this might sound a bit out there, and I'm excited actually to get back into contact with the part that just showed, because I don't know how the third part of my imagination, active imagination, might look like. So the third part is to ritualize whatever happened. So everything that happened thus far was happening either within here or within here. What we do in the third and last part of the active imagination, we build a bridge between our like unconscious, whatever is happening within here with our imagination, and the real world. So we want to sort of create a symbol for that, for whatever the active imagination and the like somatic experiences conveyed in real life. And I just remember, like, while I'm talking, I sort of did that already because I ritually hugged like the inner child through doing that. But let me ask, for example, if there's anything more that the child wants to do. Like, is there anything more that you want to do? Like, what sort of ritual can we do so you feel really, really good? And this part, I'm seeing like a river in a forest, and this is like a place that I usually go to take a bath in the nice river in the forest here. And I'm asking the child, like, do you want me to go there? Yes. And now the part tells me to take a stone that I like, that brings joy within me, and bury the stone next to a tree that is by the river. And that's what the part wants. So you either get in touch with the part and ask it like, what kind of ritual, how can we ground that in reality? Or you make something up. For example, if you have an inner critic that turned out to be a very harsh king, for example, and he turns from a tyrant into a more like, I don't know, like a more kingly version of you, instead of like being a tyrant that is really bad to the peasants in his kingdom. He has seen that he's causing a lot of harm and that he can best serve while being a king, like while wearing a crown. And then, for example, you might decide that you want to like either build a crown, that you maybe want to paint a crown, or that you maybe like go into a store and buy like, I don't know, like a Lego king or something like that. You buy that and you, for example, put it on your altar if you have that, or like if you like it's also always good to like to bury stuff, of course, that needs like in accordance to be in accordance with nature. So for example, you can like write the word tyrant or king on a piece of wood, for example, and then bury that. So really have like this ritualistic feel to the last part of the process. We want to build a bridge towards what's happening within here and also the real world. And this is happening through ritual and through symbol. And at the same time, sometimes your active imaginations might happen in a certain context. I, for example, had an active imagination showing up in a car park. And my ritual was going to a car park and just being there. And the thing is, this might sound stupid, but there are records of people. This is, by the way, also what you do in dream work. Part of interpreting your dreams is actually doing what I just described, making a ritual, bring the dream into the real world. And with dreams, this is like way more potent. There are like records of people that went to the sites where the dream happened, and then like synchronicities happened, and like they had epiphanies, and it was almost like they were walking through the dream again. And I had this several times as well, like when I was dreaming of a school and I was in school with my camera, and I interpreted that dream, and then I took my camera, my literal camera, and went to a school. I had this like surge of energy, and a lot of insights came in also from the time where I was in school. So ritualizing this part of the active imagination is super powerful. And then you can re-enter the active imagination and get in touch with the parts and ask them, like, what, or be curious about what changed in them. So this is how you can approach like somatic shadow work, how you can approach active imagination that includes the body. Really, we want to build like a bridge from the subconscious and unconscious to your conscious mind and create a vessel for the energies and the creative impulse that is coming from that part of your body-mind system. We want to create a vessel for the experience to take place. And that might look like somatic movement, that might look like gestures, that might look like just watching the sort of movie of the active imagination that's going on in here and engage with it. So we want to like open the gates for the inner experience. And then we want to literally just like be in the experience. There is no goal here. This is also important to mention. There's no goal in active imagination necessarily. The only goal is to build relationship, to start to relate and give rise and then give experience to what was unexperienced before. And to literalize that, so to speak, to make it like literal. I'm literally hugging myself. I'm literally talking to a part of me. I'm literally like burying the little crown that I built in the ground, or I'm literally burying the stone in the ground. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If something within that resonated with you, I would be very happy to like get into a conversation in the comment section, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.